not as,
Yeah, we aren't getting the response this year we got last year.
huh?
Um,
Did they, people definitely got them?
We were getting a better, we got a better response when we used postcards than we have with the QR code.
I
and with
believe that totally, because I'm old and I would
I'm
just,
thinking, yeah, it's like, you know what, I think it's the demographic, I wasn't thinking that way.
I don't even use QR codes really. I mean, if I had to, I could, but
I don't know. Like from what I see at work, I think that side of town is not just like an older demographic. There's a mixed demographic. I think, like from what who I see coming in. So I don't know if it's an age thing.
I don't know. When we did TCP, but Syker Road area 2 years ago, I feel like the response rate to the postcards was about 25%.
And this last year, we got a really big response. Now we're down to 25%.
I could see using a postcard, but not returning a postcard. You know,
Right. I don't
just like a
think they-
postcard as a
I don't
mailer as
think
opposed
they-
to a letter that might be too wordy.
Well, we'll just see how it comes out this year, and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it again. And bam.
Yeah, I mean we could always try it again.
Does that mean there are more money for TCP trees or?
Well, yeah, I think we can work that out. And I'm going to try to get someone to help you. You didn't look this way, did you?
Well, like I said, I am not as freaked out by the list.
I knew there was something coming up.
Yeah, there's always something coming up in there. Let me run it. We're official? Are we on? We're live? Okay. I've got to get hours from the rest of you guys here before we end today's meeting. I, for whatever reason, have slacked off, and I have 4 months of volunteer hours that I haven't had filled out. I haven't gotten filled out. So we were going to talk about doing the meetings today. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. We talked about voting on the meeting or minutes today. I talked about it with April, but you didn't get the minutes.
I did get them. The only things I saw, well, because I wasn't here, I wouldn't really know, was the roll call should probably be edited. Because it's got Colleen in there, it's got Dwayne in there, and then some of them are
I've
inaccurate as far as like who was present and who wasn't.
I've asked to
Yeah.
have that changed.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened.
That, and then there was, oh, I don't have it with me. Maybe it was,
And you were here according to this.
I think it's the August minutes. Yes, and I think it was the August minutes. I was also you, and
Oh, yeah,
because you weren't here, and
that was July.
Oh, yeah. And then, yeah, so I apparently played two roles there where I maybe made some motions and I also seconded them.
So, then, and the main issue you're having is being able to get logged into your email so you can get
yeah.
these things. Okay. Quentin's not here today. Engineering is out at a big conference this week. But I will meet with them on Friday. And I will see if there's something we can do to make this easier.
Yeah, I talked to Todd, so
Talk to Todd.
he's got IT on it, I think, for me tomorrow. But I can never log in for more than 6 weeks at a time, so.
Well, with that in mind, then let's postpone the minutes till next month. So it'll be 3 months worth of minutes next month. Okay, so on the top of the business here, well, the financial report, we still got money to spend. We're getting ready to encumber a ton of it here as we get through. We're starting to get responses, so we'll get it encumbered and have a better idea where we are here next month. On the grants, the grant to International Paper has been submitted, and the grant to the USDA Forestry grant for 2025 has been submitted. One of the people that reviews that has commented that they got it and they didn't shoot it down right away. So that's a good thing. We're encouraged by that. A lot of times they'll shoot things down quick. You know, they'll come in, they'll just say, nope. It didn't get shot down immediately, so that's a good, we're happy with that. The Tree City application has just become active. Rachel's going to be working on getting that in. That's why I need to get these volunteer hours into her so that we can get our Tree City. And with what we've been doing, we expect to to apply for a growth award again this year. It'll be if we get it, it'll be our 12th one. And they, like I said, engineering's not here, so on the pear removal program, I'm not sure where SOS is on removing them. As of last week, we had 15 of them removed, and we had trees selected. Was it 6 trees or 8 trees we had selected?
I think it was
8 trees selected for replacements on those. So that has taken a lot more time getting them out than we anticipated. We thought we'd give Mike the list and he'd just knock them out, but he's working it in amongst other things, so it's not happening as quick. And that's something we'll be working through.
So you have a list of 8 options that go in where a pair came out, is
Yes,
that?
we have 8 trees selected.
And depending if it's private or public land, they get to decide?
No, this is all these so far is public land.
So you'll all decide
We walked
we
the
already
sites.
have the varieties picked out for those 8.
for the specific spots?
I think about 15 spots, I think we got picked out, but
Yeah.
we're still waiting to get some stumps out and stuff.
So we walked the site and said they were all tree lawn trees. So we said this would be a good one for this would be a good one for this.
Yeah, they were taking them down at CES when I was at work one day, and I frantically called engineering to see why trees were getting cut down. Then I got my answer.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Part of that pear removal program is we wanted to replace them with native pollinator trees. So, but it still has to be the right site for a native pollinator tree, and that's Quentin, when he first got the list, Quentin said, these aren't all pollinators. It's like, well, we're not doing all pollinators. We have things we have to do in other places. Where we have an opportunity to do a big tree, we want to do a big tree. So, a work in progress. The things you learn as you go through and do things. Well, hello. I wasn't paying attention. I'm just talking. Do you have something you'd like to bring up?
But yeah, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to address the Shade Tree Beautification
Hey,
Committee.
come on in and what do you got?
Well, I have been, my name's Tanner Salyers, I'm Safety Service Director, for those of you that haven't had the,
Pleasure.
it says with dripping sarcasm, thank you. Yes, Councilwoman Hager likes to take her opportunities to make bald jokes throughout the day, so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Meet you out back. Anyway, no, I've actually been, most of my day today has been going through just the general fund portion of our budget as we'd like to deliver that to council at the first meeting in November. Something that we've done last year was the first time in, I like to jokingly say, living memory that we've had a full year budget, and we've seen a lot of benefit from doing that, better pricing, better planning. So I just kind of want to point out that Shade Tree has, honestly, I'll look over here to Randy, 6 or 7 spots, honestly, that Shade Tree can take funds from, and they're all in the general fund. And I know that you have grants and different things that you receive dollars from, but those revenue lines we've been kind of identifying with the auditor's office, how those are coming in, and we've talked to Tom Hinkle, the Director of Public Works, how those are being dispersed. And frankly, when somebody gives a dollar for a particular purpose, whether that's a grant or a donation or naming rights or whatever it is, they're not really caring about somebody. I don't want to speak for everybody, but for the most part, they don't really care about the serial dollar or serial number on that dollar. It's like, I want this particular dollar to go to, X. They're caring about, if I'm giving $50,000 for a project, I want $50,000 or more to be spent on that project, right? So that's what the general fund is. It's basically, one big pot that goes into, a multitude of funds. And then in the non-general fund, and this has been kind of a work in progress, kind of educating this through with council and all of the folks that are in our government, I like to jokingly say those shekels have shackles, right? So if it goes into those particular funds, they have to be spent on those funds, and they can't find their way out of that. But arbor planting is a whole fund for shade tree and beautification. And then there are several, what I like jokingly call the devil's playground. There is the 101-3600, which is miscellaneous. It's just a list of anything from PERS and employee final payoff to the Cocosing Gap Trail and networking and everything in between. Also in the general fund, but there are several spots, and I'm not even going to sit here and pretend that I can name them all off because there's like 52 of them, in that 101-3600 fund that is miscellaneous. Some of those are designated for projects for the Shade Tree and Beautification Commission. And then there is yet another, strangely in PB&L, which is Public Buildings and Lands, which is Arbor Trust, which is also, and that's John Alberts is the Assistant Director for Public Works, but that is also money that Shade Tree works with. So, Doc, I'm going to look at you here.
I'm listening.
We need to sit down and determine goals and, the agenda for next year. Some revenues in, make sure that they're appropriately coming to the right places, and then identify those expenditures out. Additionally, so I'm glad Randy's in the room, we did the parks budget, or we say budget, we did appropriations this year, first round of appropriations. And Councilwoman Hager is the council chair for that committee. So after we've sat down with the auditor and looked at all of that, we will bring her in to kind of discuss and make her the champion of that before we release it to council. So sometime in October, we'll go over all of this with her. But there are 3 new line items in the parks budget. One of those is Aerial Foundation Park. So that line is just Foundation Park maintenance. It is $80,000. That might seem like a lot of money, and that's because it is, but especially when you're not expecting it. But $40,000 of that comes back from the Foundation Park Conservancy to the city. $40,000 or more can come back to the city to help us maintain that 250 plus acre park. So we anticipate we'll probably spend $40,000 or more in park maintenance, but we wanted to specifically put that there for Foundation Park. $10,000 of that, there's another line that is the Columbus Delano Field of Discovery. So we have started talking with different Kenyon College, Mike Prida with SOS. There's several other folks that are interested in sponsoring, doing naming rights out there in the Field of Discovery. But we wanted a $10,000 expense line to be designated. That way, that area is just not taking dollars from both the parks budget or even the Aerial Foundation Park budget. So there's that. And then additionally, this is not so much you guys, but the splash pad is also a new line. For another $10,000. But beautification around the splash pad, there's going to be a lot of work on Riverside Park, so that's something to keep in mind, shade tree and beautification, so entryway beautification. And then one more thing that I'll throw in there in arbor, I think it's maybe not arbor plantings. It is the fund that is specifically set aside for this commission. I added a $3,000 line because, of course, I did. I added a $3,000 line specifically for initiatives for Bee City.
Good, thank you.
Are all those things you mentioned part of the general fund,
Those
including the parks budget, or is that its?
So some of those 3 new lines that I mentioned: Aerial Foundation Park, the Field of Discovery, and the splash pad. Those are all in the parks budget.
Which is not in the general fund.
That is in the general fund.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So, and the arbor planting, and the miscellaneous, and the PB&L Arbor Trust are all. In
Yeah,
the general
everything
fund.
that I've talked about today is actually all in the general
Okay,
fund.
that's what
Some
I
of
was
those
curious.
things are actually grant funded, so even though they're carried through the general fund, they ultimately become a wash. Nevertheless, they are appropriated in the general fund, and if the people that write those checks decided, nope, no check this year, and council approves it, we're still on the hook for that appropriation, right? So that is something to consider, and that's a discussion that we had last year is, even though, that's there, if council approves that appropriation and the money doesn't show up, you have legally, saddled yourself with that appropriation, and I just want that to be transparent, is this is public money, and whether it comes in or out, as far as revenue is concerned, if you don't have the revenue at the end of the year, you can't do it one way or the other, but we totally anticipate the revenue being there, or we wouldn't appropriate it. You can't. Nevertheless, that's how you end up with the carryovers and everything like that we talk about, is we bring in more than we spend. So, and we've been pretty good stewards of that over the course of time. So
We work hard to do that.
we certainly do, and we specifically in this side of things, we have very giving and philanthropic people in our community that they need to be recognized and appreciated for. But and then we also have folks that take good care of the things that we have. So wanted to bring those up because you have a lot of spots in the budget, and sometimes even things like again in that 3,600, there's rivers and harbors that could technically be used by this commission, that I think, as long as there's communication with like Quentin and engineering or public works, depending on what you're doing. So like the Paw Groves along the river, it could totally be used for something like that, because of the if you plant a Paw Grove, you're going to contribute to eliminating that soil erosion. So that could be something that we could justify using that. But there's money there. So come have a conversation with me.
Well, Quentin and I are sitting down Friday morning,
Mhm.
going through our wish list and where everything's
Oh,
going.
I love
Wish lists are fun.
ripping those up. Yeah. So yeah, love doing that.
You love ripping them
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Well, when we first laid it out, things have changed just in the few months since
Sure.
we first laid it out. So we're going to go through and finalize it and work on getting our quotes for the things that we have.
Yep.
And then what money we have and where we can get it from and where it's going.
Sure.
Once we kind of nail that down again, we'll talk again.
Yeah, so the field of discovery, this is something that I would, am happy to put our efforts toward, and what we've been putting our efforts toward is the field of discovery, America 250 efforts, those things. And then, something that you could coordinate with code enforcement, as we have been trying to steer our efforts toward our walkability. The city back in, I think, 2021 dedicated itself to being a walkable city. So including that is identifying areas of sidewalk that are not ADA compliant. And on top of that also includes areas that have low-hanging tree limbs or any sort of growth that grow out into the sidewalk. So it's just kind of doing a sidewalk audit, really, just going out through, and we have cash for that, both more, again in those arbor trusts that would qualify for that. We have tree planting and trimming. I think it's called trimming. And then we also have that could potentially bleed over into a capital improvement account in the 401, but that's when you have to really start fist fighting for it. So all right, but I just wanted to bring all that up. So some of those, bigger things that the public really appreciates and notices when you start, clearing that up. And we get a lot of complaints about, I have a sidewalk and can't even walk on it, or I'd like to have a sidewalk. And every time that we do a public survey, that's what everybody says is, I'd like to engage my community by walking in it,
Yeah.
which I don't think is too much to ask for.
No.
So, okay, well, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, all right.
We,
Thank you for what you do.
you'll hear from us here shortly. Good deal. Thank you.
I'll talk about sidewalks all day long.
There's some spots. They're slowly working on them. The plan started as centering at the schools and working out from the schools. That was the original plan, and they're kind of working that plan now, getting better at it.
Good. A lot of places on my dog walk, there's no sidewalks.
There's a lot, it's amazing how many streets don't have sidewalks. All right, well, questions about any of that? You
There
understood
was no
about a third
number
of it?
attached. I'm curious how much all that adds up to in our lines we can use, but you can probably find that out from Quentin, right?
Yeah, that's what we have a good idea, but we don't have it all nailed down right
What he just now went over to me was rather overwhelming in the fact that I just don't know all the individual items that there are. Is it appropriate to actually get, for us members, to get a sheet of paper like this that says general budget and then lists all those items that he had, that he just now talked about, and gave us the budget number and all the information that's available, so that each one of us has that in front of us, that we don't have to sit here and go and then try and decipher what he actually said. Am I the only one that's thinking that?
now. I think that's reasonable.
I'd agree with that.
We just aren't there yet.
Okay.
We've gotta,
All right, is there an estimate of when we get there?
Well, they last year did the budget talks in December, is that right? So, line by line, one can come to the council meeting and hear that, but, so probably by January, we could be able to get the finalized.
Yeah, he said we would start talking on about the budget in November, so.
so we have, I don't have all those numbers with me. But I'll pass that around. That was the wish list for this year. It has a lot of that
This is getting
information.
close to what I was talking
It's
about.
getting close. That's what I said.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
working towards that.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
working towards it. Yes, the goal is to get everybody on the same page with that. We just, you know what, the engineering department's a busy darn place.
I would say the problem is that we can't see the forest for the trees. I mean, I feel like I just see my own little project line and whatever, and I don't always have a grasp. I said that as a joke, but I mean it kind of.
Yeah.
Like I see my own little section, and that's it.
No, it's a work in progress. So, yes, the city did give us more money this year, so we are working to allocate. We'll get there. Arista Villas. Arista Villas, yes. I talked with Clint and Dave, they're the principals in that project. And Brian and I walked the wooded area. It's not, there's not much in there that's good for much. So they said, okay, what kind of guidelines are we looking for? So this is what I gave them, and I said, this is a work in progress. It's just off, what we're talking about. They're gonna take what I've given them, come back to us and say, what do you think of this? And then we can go from there. But I told them we would like at least 40% of shade tree coverage at maturity, which is that's a tough number because trees grow at different rates. But we want at least 40% coverage. They have a 10-foot tree lawn, and we've asked them not to fill the tree lawn full of utilities so that we can actually plant trees in it. Because of the shape of the land, they're gonna have to do quite a bit of grading, so most all the trees will not make it, unless there's one really grand tree in there, and then we can work with them on that. They're willing to work. So they're putting in 100 quarter-acre lots. So I asked them to do to take 15 of those quarter-acre lots in the wooded area and survey those, and we use that as the general survey. Take that and multiply it by the total. What else did we talk about? I said that we need at least three to five trees per lot replaced, so that we don't have just trees in the tree lawn. We want trees in the lots around the homes. And the way the ordinance is written, when they remove the trees, they have to replace them. Well, obviously they can't replace all the trees because they're going to build roads and houses. So the discussion was to create a forest bank, and they would deposit money in the forest bank that we could use in the community for other projects that involve trees. I talked to the auditor's department about that, and they're gonna look into setting up an account like that. Because this won't be the first developer that's gonna be doing this kind of stuff. So if we could set up a forest bank, they would go that way. So once they come up with their preliminary plan and their tree inventory, the plan is that they would do a Zoom call with engineering. And they would all sit down and say, okay, based on what we're seeing, this is what we want to do. And then everybody would put in their 10 cents. And then they would go back and redesign or replan based on the comments. And then that would be the plan they would bring and present to us for our approval before they go to council. Is that the correct way they're doing it before us, before they go to council, correct?
Mhm.
So that's where the Arista Villas is. Once we get the Zoom meeting set up, I'll let you know, and if you want to come in and sit on it, you can. I don't know if they'll record that or not. Like, Zoom meetings can be recorded. Well, obviously, this is a Zoom meeting. Oh, no, this isn't a Zoom. This is a YouTube. Zoom meetings can be recorded. We'll see how they want to handle that, how engineering wants to handle that. Questions about any of that? And I've got the Mount Vernon Avenue Forest. That's the, that is the land. There's a 6-acre plot at the corner of Edgewood and Mount Vernon Avenue. It's already been platted out. The idea was that the city wants to sell the land to a developer to develop. So we went in with Paul Helser to look at the trees to see if there was anything that could be salvaged or harvested out of there, and the consensus is there's nothing there that's worth any money. There are some cherry trees and some things in there that could potentially be something, but it wasn't enough to sell anywhere. So depending on, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Brian again with that. He had mentioned if there was enough cherry, we could get the cherry and harvest it, and we could use it for the police station or the Justice Center. Use some of the wood in there. But I don't know where that's going at the time, but that's why this is on there, because we looked at that, and that land, they intend to sell that land. And I don't know how quick that's gonna be. You got questions about that?
No, sorry. We were just looking.
It's, like I said, it's the wish list.
I know, I was saying, I think I have that. I
Yes.
think you and I have that. You gave that to me.
I gave you a copy of
Yeah.
that. So I got Arbor Day on here, the Salvation Army. I have a meeting with them on the 10th, Friday the 10th at 11 a.m. to walk the property and get their feel for what they'd like to have there. So if anybody's available and like to go, we'd meet down here, meet at engineering, and then head on over from there.
I'm sorry, repeat when that is again?
It's Friday the 10th at 11 a.m. 10th at 11. I told her that I may have a crew with me,
Oh,
or I may not.
no
I-
pressure.
Yeah, I expect to have Zane at least, and we're hoping to get Brian in on that one. 'Cause he knows the trees for the sites and all the things and what we can and can't do or should and shouldn't do there. So that's where that one is. So I've gone over the old stuff. Does anybody have anything that we didn't talk about or questions about any of that stuff before I go any further? All right. So we talked last month. I showed you a quick picture of the ballpark at Memorial Park, how they're going to redesign the fields. They were going to go in at this month. The plan was to go in this month and wipe it clean and rebuild everything. The new plan is to build a concession stand at the Babe Ruth Park and a concession stand in the softball quad now, this fall, and then in this July 1, I think, is the date. Close the park, take out the existing ball diamonds, put in the new ball diamonds. That was in the last meeting, that was kind of the timeline on that. So the concession stands will go in this fall, and then the park will, the softball fields will be reconfigured starting July 1. And I have a picture of that. I held it up the other day, or last week, month. And it's been a month already. Went quick. I have a picture of how it's gonna be laid out if you'd like to see it. I made another note for Delano Field of Discovery. Tanner mentioned it here. He set aside money for that. We, in the wish list, had set aside money for that. Everything's been approved. As soon as everything is done blooming and starts to go to seed or drops its seed, we're gonna go in and mow the entire field and then do a seeding. Then it would be the springtime we'd come in and lay out the new trails. I thought we should lay out the trails before we seed, but they've decided that it's best to seed and then come in and lay out the trails. So come spring, we'll be out there with the GIS unit and flags marking trails so they can mow the trails where we want. Most of the seeding will be done in the lower bowl area. In the lower bowl area where we dumped all the soil. Most of the new seeding this fall will be here, although this will get overseeded too. And then the red lines, I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
All those red lines are the new trails. They all mimic native Indian trails in the state of Ohio. So then each little cell, as Tanner had mentioned, different groups or organizations might want to take a cell and dedicate it and do some kind of planting there. We did sell off the Johnny Appleseed trees. And we lost 6 of them. We had one. The original one was carried around the park by a deer multiple times, replanted a couple times. We finally got a corral around it. It's producing apples. The other 6 that we put in, the rodents got in and just girdled them, ate them up. So we'll have to replant those 6 come spring so that area can maintain the Johnny Appleseed. What would you call it? Vibe? The Johnny Appleseed area?
Yeah.
Yeah. That will remain the Johnny Appleseed area.
On the note of animals and things, I got a request from someone who got trees last year if they could get tree guards for the trees. I don't know if we do that ever, but I assume that means because deer are.
We bought a bunch of tree guards and we put them in, so we do have tree guards.
But if TCP people ask for them,
TCP.
do I just?
Do you remember how many of those round ones we had left?
Don't know if I had.
There were a few. There was one box that was mostly round. I would think if we did that, we would give them the little round, the pipes, because they're going to be.
Do we just give them and say, you put it on, or do I give the address to someone and?
It's their tree
No.
now. So I think.
Pretty easy to put on a tree guard.
Yeah, you just snap it on. They're just corrugated plastic with a slit in them. You just slip them over.
Okay.
They're not hard to put on. That's easier than the ones we bought, the new ones we bought.
The flat ones.
The flat ones, because those have to be wrapped
Those are a pain in the
around.
neck, yeah.
Yeah, wrapped around Velcro. They are a little pain.
So is the answer I go pick them up somewhere and deliver them, or I just tell the person you can stop and pick them up at?
So this
Give
is
your name.
for someone who's already got a tree that wants,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Got several
But
trees.
now, Randy, on that, logistic wise, how someone call you and say I need a tree guard, and you have to show up and give them a tree guard.
If it's not an overwhelming amount of people calling, that would be fine.
Sure.
It's one person's asked, but he got a lot of trees.
Like 6.
I don't know how many he needs tree guards for, but
Yeah. Are you okay with them having them call you directly to get them?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
okay. I mean, I'll give you a heads up that his name and address, I guess. Is that
Well, he won't need the address because they're just going to pick them up and he's going to give them to them.
just? Oh, I thought maybe just as a recording that it's legit for
Oh,
a tree.
okay.
I
Okay.
didn't mean like to deliver them, just so
Yeah.
you know it's a tree, TCP tree.
Yeah, TC.
But
yeah.
I don't. Okay.
Yeah, we have them. I don't know, I don't see a problem giving them people. When they're gone, they're gone. But there was a good sized box,
Yeah,
that, and most of them are 2 feet or so, you know, so maybe if, and they're worried about rodents, maybe if we cut them into one footers or something. Or say, here, how many trees you got? Here's 3, cut them up and put them on your tree, or,
I think you want them pretty tall, because I think you're gonna be wanting to protect them from the deer probably. not
Okay,
necessarily
Yeah,
the
that's, I'm sure it's out, it's
Oh,
in
I
the
thought I
Syker area,
understood.
but it's the one of the ones that backs up to Center Run.
oh
so-
yeah, they'll have plenty of deer in there. Yeah, they'll need the taller ones. Okay. Well, we'll give them what we got until they're gone.
yeah, if that's all right with you.
All right with me.
Everybody is.
All right with everybody? We okay with that? Do we need to vote on that?
My comment is, yeah, we want to save the trees we already put in. I just think maybe some kind of list of who's getting them and what address in case there's a question later about.
Can
And
we get them
these are-
back?
These would be the TCP trees, so is there a way you can, on your spreadsheet, just mark that they've got tree guards?
I mean, at the point where they're given out, that someone keeps a record to make sure that, like, oh, yep, you are a person who got a TCP tree. You know what I mean? Not just a random person who's like,
Oh,
hey, can I get some tree guards? Not that I guess we don't want to protect all trees, but you know.
yeah. Well, so then you'd have to know, yeah, you'd have to tell him who's calling, or who's gonna call. Yeah, how do you manage that? That's a
They-
darn good one.
Can they buy the tree guards?
Um,
If we're probably not ever gonna get them back?
I doubt that we'd ever get them back.
Uh,
They're just.
I don't know how much I don't know how
It's
expensive they are.
a corrugated drain pipe. You see
Mhm.
that black corrugated drain pipe? That's what it is. It's cut in sections. You just slice it and put it on. I don't know what that stuff costs.
I mean, I'm happy
I'm
to
sure
be,
it's ridiculous
I'm happy
now.
to send you an email or text saying, this is the gentleman who asked, this is his address, he did get TCP trees of X number, and that way, when he stops by, you can be like, oh yeah. And,
Yeah.
you know, and not just that random, I don't know, is that the best
That
way
sounds good.
without
'Cause
too
then
much effort?
then you've got an email that you sent Randy that says this guy's the.
Did ask
He,
if
he knows that that person would be the person to come and get them.
Not making too much work. Okay, so I will.
There's something else you have to manage. All right, so I'm gonna try to get you out of here early. So we've got one other thing that's come up. About 10 years ago, we had a group that came to Shade Tree Commission and said, we'd like to put a historic marker in the Gambier Street Park. You've seen this.
Oh, yes.
Um, And I've got some copies of the verbiage. And then it kind of just fell to the wayside, and now it's coming back up. The Community Foundation gave the Shade Tree Commission $3,000 towards the purchase of the historic marker. It'll be more expensive now, but I've been told that the foundation is willing to put in whatever they need to get the marker purchased. So this is the verbiage for the marker. If there's anything you like or don't like, you're welcome to make marks on it and let me know so I can forward it on.
My comment, I saw this through another organization, is I'm not sure this is the final.
No, it's probably not the final.
Because I've made a few comments, and they are not reflected here. Not that they necessarily will be, but so I
Yeah.
comment. But yeah, this might not be.
Yeah, I don't think it's set in stone yet. It's still, everything has to get approved. There's gonna be a picture of the house and a picture of B.B. Williams. Once everything gets approved and everybody blesses it and it goes through council and all the stuff, we're still looking at, April, May, June, somewhere in that time frame to get it installed. So it's not, it takes it takes quite a while to have one made, but then all the things you have to do before that, so. But that's, if there's something on here you like, don't like, you think is incorrect, you wanna add something, feel free to write on it and let me know. And we'll pass it on to the folks that are making it. It looks like they have to have a sponsor, and the Knox County Foundation, I think, is gonna be the sponsor on it. But we, as a Shade Tree Commission, have to go through it and approve it and make sure we're happy with the way it is. And then, the packet gets taken to city council, and city council then decides if they think it's a reasonable thing, and they have to approve it also. So, a bunch of different steps that have to go on through this. But 10 years later, I've got a printed copy.
Woohoo! Progress.
And the wheels of progress move very slowly, don't they? So. Randy, how much time have you spent thinking about shade tree in the last 4 months?
In the last 4 months,
Yeah, I'm 4 months behind. Sorry.
30.
I think that's reasonable with dealing with the water truck and all the things that are going with that. We had talked a while ago about fertilizer. Did we do anything with that?
They've been fertilizing for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, okay. Everything's going well with that?
Yeah, they don't have a problem just putting it in when they fill.
All right, well, while I'm talking with you, anything else going on with the water truck? You got anything happening? Things are going well?
Things are going well. We just,
And the dry spell kicked their butts, didn't it?
yeah, but kept them busy.
So we have them until the end of,
Well, I don't have a final date on them yet. We can keep them a little longer than some of the others because I've kept track of their hours, and they don't always work a full week, so it doesn't count towards the hours.
okay,
So we can keep them a little longer
good.
when we decide with this weather when we can get the bags off the trees. And I guess we'll just determine then.
Then, yeah, get everything cleaned up and get it put away and,
Yeah.
You'd mentioned something about a shed and the roof. Are you still thinking you're gonna do that?
Still in the plans if we can get the time to work on
They-
it. It's
they have
just
a-
small one.
They have a small outbuilding, and he's gonna upgrade the roof, and then that'll be the shade tree outbuilding for water bags and tree guards and all the kind of miscellaneous stuff that he has a place where it belongs instead of in his way.
We're sort of running out of room.
Well, a lot of those water bags will be going out next year when they start in Heartland Commerce Park. Actually, yeah, it'll be next year when we start doing that. A lot of those will go out. Something else that just come up is the city's gonna be working on that Cattleman Dam there off of Yager Road. And I think there's 60,000 cubic yards or 60, there's just a ton of soil there. So we can have it. All we have to do is pick it up. So do you have places that have holes or low spots in their parks where you can use some soil? Because we can have it for free. We won't have to pay for it. It'll just be our moving it.
There's probably a few areas. That's a lot of dirt.
It's a lot. Oh yeah, it's a lot.
That is
More
not a
than-
volunteer project, right?
Well, the conversation with Brian was once the watering crew
I'm
is
not
done.
available.
Yeah, you're not gonna do that one? That's a Saturday project. Once the water crew's done, we could use that dump truck to pick it up and haul it and dump it in places where we have low spots, holes, places where we need some soil. I know there are a few all around in all the parks. Shelmar needs some back in there. They wanted to do more back, where that Walnut Grove is and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, over where we removed the bathroom by the splash pad, that needs dressed up some more. It's
Yeah.
settled.
Yeah, so there's places you can use it. And then since we're taking over the city's taking over Air Foundation Park, it'd be a good idea to go out and do a quick survey there. And while we have the soil, let's get it there.
Yeah, I mean, there's always areas out
Yeah,
there that.
there's all kinds of areas out in there.
And if we had a place where we could stockpile some of it, that would.
Well, that would, your parks, you got a place you can dump it. We can't dump it in Delano Park anymore.
No, we gotta stop that one.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. So, but if you have another, I know like behind the city garage, they still have a pretty good size not city garage, the street garage. Do they still have a pretty good size of soil, pile of soil there, don't they, or is that all gone now?
Well, a lot of that's lime they have back there that they're still working on removing.
Okay.
And
Well, you can talk to Tom and talk to and find out.
yeah,
It's available to us. You know, we buy the soil from, you know, we're paying $20 a ton or so, and we can have it for free.
yeah, that's, it'd be nice to have a place to put it, cause we have had to buy it. When we redone Babe Ruth, we ended up keeping most of that, cause we was paying to have it hauled out, and I stopped him on that and said, we'll just take it, see, we don't have to pay to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Buy it back
And
later.
then, yeah, but that tends to be the way things work sometimes, though, isn't it?
Yeah, so,
So yeah, if you kind of think about that a little bit.
yeah, I'll talk with Tom and a few of the others.
Yeah, because, and Brian, you know, he's the one that brought it up to me, so.
Okay, yeah, I know, I talked with Brian at one point, and he said they're gonna have a bunch, so.
Yeah, so we just thought, you know, once the water equipment's out, you can use, you know, you got that truck, run it all day long.
Yeah, maybe we could get a bigger truck and make it a little easier.
Yeah, if you got a bigger truck, yeah, well, if it's not doing leaves or something, you know, if it's,
Yeah,
If
just
we're-
depends on the time
yeah,
frame.
when the, well, I guess you're not, yeah, you know, we talked about waiting until the watering's over, but, you know, it's just kind of whenever they start the project, that's when it's available.
Yeah, and we got leaf season, it'll be here before we know it.
Oh, it's gonna
and
come
that'll
way
tie up
fast.
Most of the big trucks.
Yeah. All right, well, it's just something that has come up that I wanted to make you aware of. You probably already knew some of it, but yeah, I appreciate what you do for us. Is there anything else you need from us? You got supplies, you're good?
Right now, we're doing pretty good, so.
All right. So this Kroger bag here is full of American chestnuts. Okay? Now, when I was going through to look, you know, trying to get chestnuts growing here in the city, the American Chestnut Society was selling 4 chestnut seeds for $100.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was like, well, we're not buying any of those. But then you talk to enough people, things happen, and I've got chestnuts. I took a big bag of them to engineering last week and said, plant them, eat them, spread them out, share them. So that's what this bag is here. There's bags in there. Take some. Plant them wherever you can. If you got a spot to plant them, if you want to eat them, eat them. You know how to roast chestnuts?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Yeah, there you go.
We've all heard that song, I
Heard that
think,
song.
once or twice.
Kind of excellent.
Yeah, you cut it. You can do them in the microwave. You don't have to do them on a fire. But yeah, you know, obviously you'd want to eat some. It's a chance to eat something that I haven't eaten one for 40 years. So it's kind of an interesting flavor, but they're not bad. So take walnuts, plant them. They're not walnuts.
Chestnut.
Chestnut. Easy.
To plant them,
It's a scary thing.
you just poke them like 4 inches down or something.
How do you plant
3
them,
inches?
Brian?
Oh, about the depth of the seed,
Okay.
and that's a good rule of thumb on anything. Depth of the seed.
Can you plant them in a pot and then once they seed or sprout,
I
replant them?
think they wanna go through a winter, so you're better off planting them outside.
Okay.
But they will dry out, so you gotta keep them moist. I mean, those sitting on top of where they are right now, in 2 weeks they'll start to shrivel up, so you can keep them moist and get them in the ground or something. Or you put them in a bag and put them in the refrigerator and plant them in the early spring.
There you go, April.
But they need to go through a cold period before they sprout. Last year, we took some and planted them, right now, and then we got quite a few of them to come up, and I think probably the biggest one's probably about that big now.
Get out of
I got
town,
some pictures
really?
on my
That's
phone.
awesome.
So they're available for Quentin or whoever to plant.
Yeah, I gave. Oh yeah, Quentin's got some.
No, I mean the big one.
Oh, the big one?
The ones that grew last.
Are they? It's good enough to transplant them this year?
Yeah, once they go dormant, we can pull them up, or we can wait till spring.
Okay. Well, we've got.
Quentin's got a spot for them or whatever.
We can make a spot at West Arrow, Chestnut Grove.
And how do you know these are like the American and not like a hybrid of?
They're American
Chinese?
chestnut. One of my patients has them on his farm. His grandfather planted the tree. about this big around. It survived the blight. It's amazing. It's a beautiful tree. So they are American chestnuts. They are not Chinese chestnuts.
I know we knew of an old tree somewhere, and then someone came and looked at it and said it's old, but it's not a pure American, which is why they think it survived. That's why I'm asking.
Oh.
So I didn't know if there's.
No,
a way.
I haven't had it. I haven't had an arborist certify it. So yeah, I shouldn't speak. Maybe I could be wrong.
Only because the tree we knew of was really old, so they're like, oh wow, you still have one. It's like, you know, but it wasn't. I think it's part blend, even though it could be 100-year-old plus tree. Apparently there was a Chinese one here back then. So I'm not
Yeah, well,
asking
that's
because I
how we-
doubt, just because I'm like, how do you know?
That's how we got the blight. Was that Chinese chestnut trees were imported in. I have 8 of them that are about that big in my backyard. But, okay. When I planted them, I put them in and I put chicken wire over it so the squirrels wouldn't dig them out. And that's what we got growing. So you too can have a chestnut tree.
Wow.
And we're just gonna say they're American chestnut trees.
How
'cause I
many
don't
years
like that.
till you get mini chestnuts coming up?
I would guess and say 15 to 20 years, but
Wow.
possibly 10.
Better start now.
Yeah. All
Is
right,
there a
well,
particular way you put it? Get it in the ground? Is there a particular way you stick it in the ground?
No,
No?
I just kind of stuck them in it. They've got like
you have a little point on
I
them.
guess the bottom, and then you get the part with the point. I just kind of plant them sideways.
Sideways?
I'm
Okay.
not sure if that's the right way, but that
Okay.
the seeds they'll find a way.
It'll find a way.
I think when they start to sprout, they got that first little root, which is the radical. It kind of comes out, and then the other one sprouts up. So.
When I did mine, I just made a trench. Just went along, laid them in the trench.
Sideways?
They just dropped them in.
Oh, you just didn't care, you just dropped them.
Dropped them in the trench and then threw the dirt over them.
And it wasn't any deeper than the seed itself.
That was about that deep.
Sometimes that's.
Okay, so there's plenty there. Help yourself with them. Lynanne, how many hours have you spent thinking about shade trees
A week?
a month?
A month? Probably 20.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So, when did you start with us?
Probably very beginning of April.
April.
Yeah, because I was sworn into city council like March 27th. And then, of course, I didn't know anything about all the boards and commissions that I'd be on until after I was sworn in. And then my life unraveled. No, and so I'm sure I came to my first meeting in April.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Well, I appreciate you all listening to me.
I write everything on my calendar.
Once we get the numbers together this weekend, this next Friday, and see where we are with our cards and stuff. What I mentioned to you, Sarah is limited to like 70 in the TCP program, and that fund is budgeted for that amount. But because we have money in the general fund and we can use it, we thought if instead of her doing carryovers, like this year, she had to carry over people from last year because we didn't have the funds to do it.
People who requested from August on last year, I didn't meet with them and they didn't get a tree yet. So I'm
that's
starting
where-
with them.
Where I kind of pointed to you, I think what we'll do is you can work with her and you can pick up those remainders so we can get all the requests in the year that they're requested.
Okay.
Okay? It's not that terrible of a project. She's got it all figured out.
It's just calling people. It's just administrative.
Yeah, it's just making contact and setting it up. And then Ryan puts the trees in. It's simple.
You just tell me what you do and I'll see, I'll mimic it.
Yeah, yeah, that's all you gotta do.
Split
Don't
the
reinvent
list.
the wheel. But we'll have those, by the next meeting, we'll have a good idea where we are with all that. We'll try very hard to have something like this for everybody. So you'll know where we are and what we're doing.
So what do we need to do before next meeting then?
can you get into the engineering Google Sheets, Google whatever it's called, documents?
I've never tried it.
I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow with the system, right? If I can't, I don't know that I can give you access to it. Zane gave me access to it again. I had access to it last year, and then it like. But we'll see if we can get you. I can, make you a rough photocopy. But if he can get you access to it, and we'll just split it, and I'll do anything from last year. I've started making calls already, visits up through a certain date, and then you can meet people after that. The only confusing thing I was telling Jim is, for some reason, the mailings this year, which are not TCP, the responses got put on this file. They're in a different color, but before it was just TCP requests that were in this file. So I kind of feel like if we could go back to having
An
two
individual.
files,
Yeah.
maybe.
We'll work toward, we'll get that taken care
But
of. No, I don't think that's an unreasonable kind of thing to have done. Just make it easier to keep track of.
right, which is which.
And then, once she does all that, then Brian plants a tree, you just look and say, yeah, the tree's in, and you sign off on it, and then it's in, and they're good.
I usually make contact with the person, go meet them for like 5-10 minutes, put flags where their requests are, take notes on what they are wishing for tree-wise, and then try to aggregate a whole bunch, like after I've done several, get Brian to come with me and we just, without maybe the homeowner being there, go by and look at a whole bunch so he can say, yes, that's appropriate or not. Sometimes he'll say, oh, a better tree would be, or what, whatever.
Well,
So,
Ian will be pretty good at that.
yes, well, you have an expertise
Yeah.
I do not have.
Yeah.
Experience.
But that's the way I do it because I try to get their wishes, but then we do a quick drive-by where he can, just say, yep.
Yeah.
Then I submit it after that. And a few people change their minds later on. Like, I don't want that one after all. Or,
But they
Yeah,
wait
that's-
till you plant it before they tell you that.
well, no, somewhere along the line.
Not always. It has happened. And, in conjunction with that, we'll still be doing the West End, we're still doing Mansfield Avenue, we're still doing Clintonville. So there will be more than just that for everybody.
Are
Once you
those the
get a
ones that
request
are
for
on
that.
here? Are those the responses that are on here in green?
Some of those, yes.
Okay, because it's like you said, it seems like there are only about 28.
Yeah, we're not getting the
Addresses.
response this year that we did last year, and I think all I can think is just the demographic. They're more likely to put a card in the mail than use the QR code or
Oh, yes, because even I could care less about QR codes. I'm like, what is that? Give me something else. I just don't mess with QR codes.
put them on the letter, because you could just hit that and it
Yeah.
takes you right to the application. You
Yeah.
fill it right out.
Yes, but there's some.
But the website does too, and then you call in and you get Rachel and she'll take your information.
Yeah, it's funny. There's QR code people and then there's non-QR code people. I'm a non-QR code person. I mean, I just don't use them. I'm like, nah. I don't know what that is. It's weird.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for real, I mean, I'm not being
No, I
I'm not being
understand fully.
disparaging on our process at all. I'm just saying me. We got that. Everyone, I'm sure, got that big thing in the mail the other day for like Knox County Sway Cash or Sway app or whatever. And it's like you put, you do the QR code and you can get all. And I was like, oh no. I know someone spent a whole bunch of money on this mailer. I am not doing that QR code for anything. What is this thing?
Well, we're hoping, in a letter from the city, that they aren't quite as skeptical of that.
Well.
Yeah, we're not doing a jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
You know what I'm
and
saying.
again, that next year when we talk about this again, those will be the things that we'll talk about when we redo the letter next year.
But I mean, even like if you go into a restaurant anymore, if they don't have a menu, they have a QR code. I'm like,
Not eating here.
I don't want anything you have then.
And I'm that way with the kiosk, the self-checkout stuff. I'm not interested.
Yeah,
Don't
my
need my
husband's
business.
like, yeah, he's like, I'm not paying those people hourly for me to check out my own stuff. Oh, technology is great.
It is, excuse me. All right, anything else?
I have a couple things.
Okay, what do you got?
I saw that the guy that was cloning the sequoias was gonna charge like $1,000.
No,
a tree
that
or
was the guy who
whatever.
was cloning them. Yeah.
What are we doing about sequoias? Is that on hold?
Well, right now, we have the plot laid out, and Scott is killing the grass, waiting for the contractor to come in and put the fence in.
Okay.
Okay, so we're at a point where, do we spend the money now and put in saplings before the winter? I'm just I'm not real keen on that.
Do we know where we're getting them?
We're still gonna get them out of California.
From the original place?
From the original
Okay,
place.
okay.
Yeah, we're still going back there. Yeah, the cloning guy, cause he does monster trees and does a lot of cool stuff. But it's like buying 4 chestnuts. But
Yeah.
It's just not practical for us. Not gonna do it that way. We're gonna plant 50 of them the way we're gonna do it and hope some will survive.
My other thing is, has anybody looked at the trees on the south side of the Y? One of them looks
Well,
The new ones?
potentially dead. Yeah.
the western.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
On the
right
Chestnut
against
Street.
the pool
Yeah.
wall?
Yes.
Yeah, those were crab apples.
It
Those were
looks,
those,
uh,
well, crud, name just left me. What are the crabs? Adirondack. Were those Adirondacks or coral bursts?
Huh?
Coral burst or Adirondacks?
I'm not sure, I thought they were coral bursts, but they could be Adirondacks. I haven't looked at them lately.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to go take a look at that. One thing we did notice is even along Sandusky Street, we have a lot of those crabs that we put in the year before last. And they're just not making it. Zane's of the opinion now, if we remove those, we're gonna just plant a new tree. Something that's more suited for the site. If they're not making it, then they're not the right tree for the site.
Yep. And my other thing was, there is, I think, it's in the tree lawn, so I'm assuming it was one of our trees at some point on Hamtramck between Division and Clinton. This thing is just dead. And it's in the tree lawn.
Okay. Zane has a list of about 40 trees on his list
Okay.
of hazardous dead removals.
Okay.
He's not here to talk about it. I'm sure
Okay.
he probably has it.
I can just email him, I guess.
Yeah, and when we meet Friday, that was one of the things we were gonna go over today. Because there's a, Mansfield Avenue, we're doing the mixed-use path on the east side, but on the west side, across from the cemetery, there's a sewer line project that had to get completed. So there's a bunch of trees in there that have to be removed. So they're working out who's gonna pay for what.
Yeah, I mean, this tree is only like this big around.
Yeah. Probably something we planted a few years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're done with our time. And then I can tell you something else if you want to know more. So who would like to,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
would like to second it?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So we adjourn. And you sat there through the whole thing, and I'm sorry I ignored it. I didn't mean to ignore you.
You're fine.
You're just here to listen,
Yep,
listen to us ramble on.
yep, I'm running for city council. as a
Oh,
rep.
yeah? And your name is?
Greg Yashnik,
And where are you?
Third Ward.
Third Ward? I'm in the Fourth Ward. Where's the Third Ward?
East side, out Shockton Road, Yager Road.
Okay. You need a bunch of trees out there.
We do. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of trees.
I know, I tried years ago and.
I'm your girl.
Yeah, you're my Fourth Ward girl.
And I think if I'm
Mine
not
too.
mistaken, like along Venture Drive and that, a lot of the trees down through there are all pear trees.